In today's video, I'm going to be talking about passport bros and the 2 reasons why they're ultimately beta males. All right, but before you get your panties all in a bunch, hear me out because I've got some points to make. And then once you hear these points, you might think, okay, fair. All right. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and a notification button because I'm dropping a video every day. All right. Passport bros and 2 reasons why they are ultimately beta males. All right. And as I mentioned, don't be getting your panties all up in a bunch. Just hear me out for a second. Okay. First of all, let's describe passport bros. Okay. So passport bros, and I made a bunch of notes. So if you see me looking over to the side, that's why, because I don't want to miss anything. Passport bros are men who prefer to date foreign women in other countries. Fair? Now, there's another layer to this. So what, okay, passport bros, they're interested in women in other countries. Great. Now, passport bros typically fall into one of 2 camps only. Camp number 1 are guys who ultimately want the power in the relationship. Okay? Camp number 2 is guys who've not gotten any attention at home and want an easier time and seek validation and attention. So let me repeat that. Camp number 1 is guys who ultimately want the power, all the power in the relationship. So if she's a traditional woman and you are more of a, alpha male, and you want that woman who stays at home, cooks, cleans, does all that stuff, then fine. Maybe you're in that camp. Number 2 is the guy who's hardly gotten any attention in his home country. Women are not paying attention to him. Maybe he's just average looking, average Joe, and he wants an easier time and feels like, okay, these foreign women will be more interested in me. So here's the kicker. I would say statistically that 95% of passport bros fall into camp number 2, where they're an average Joe and they receive almost no attention in their home country. In their mind, they justify and say, well, I want a traditional woman. Well, sure they do, but ultimately they want attention because they're not getting any in their home country. Okay? Now, that is typically a beta male. A beta male has a very hard time getting attention because they don't know how to get attention and they're not alpha enough to get that attention, right? So if you don't believe me, just watch any episode of 90 Day Fiancé. It's kind of pathetic, right? These guys that clearly can't date in their home country and they struggle with dating in their home country. And I'm telling you, as also a guy, look, I was married before and I've been single for 2.5 years. I have no problem meeting women here in the United States, in Atlanta. No problem getting dates. And I don't use dating apps anymore, but I used to use dating apps. I go to parties, for example, and I DJ for fun. For example, I met 2 young women under 35 at a party. I DJ'd a house party on Friday. There was another party that I went to and I was DJing, or not went to, I was DJing, and I got 2 phone numbers that night. Like, I have no problem competing here. And that's the sad reality about passport bros. In camp number 2, typically, which is I would say 95% of passport bros, is they just can't compete here because they either haven't put in the effort, they don't know how. And also, if you don't believe me, just watch any video on YouTube of guys in Thailand walking along in Bangkok, right, on the strip, the party strip. Look at the men. Look at the men in those videos. They look sad and pathetic. They're overweight. They don't even take care of themselves. They're wearing fucking sandals and t-shirts and shorts. They look like shit. And the women are all over them because they're looking for somebody to help provide for them, right? Because it's a third world country, but they can't dress like that and act like that in the United States or in Canada, for example, or in many other countries and expect to get attention and have success with women. So it's like, really, dude? So I'm going to stick with that most of the men, maybe it's not 95%, but out of 100%, would you guys agree that it's at least 70-30? Okay, let's fair. Let's knock the 95 down to 70-30. Would you guys agree that 70% of passport bros is because the reason why they're going, they want to move to another country, they're interested in foreign women, is because they get no attention here? Would you agree that? 70%? Let me know in the comments, okay? Because I want this to be a fair discussion. But let's just say the majority is because they're not getting, and the more majority of passport bros is that they're not getting any attention here. In fact, there's a guy, Redbeard Rants. This guy lives in Brazil, right? And he's a dating coach dude, young guy. And he even posted the video recently on average guys don't get any attention back in the United States. And I'm thinking, okay, well, you could be still average and get a lot of attention if you level up your game. Get off the fucking dating apps and learn how to meet people organically and cold approach and take care of your body and everything. And then this guy's, average looking, I guess. But the bottom line is I'm going to stick to my opinion here that statistically 70% at very minimum of passport bros don't get any attention in their home country. They need to get, they're interested in foreign women. And as a result, they're a beta male. They can't compete here, right? And maybe that's not the right term to describe them, but I'm going to call them beta males because if they were truly an alpha male, they would figure out a way how to get attention and to improve themselves and compete, right? If they can't compete, they're a beta male. The alpha males compete all the fucking time. They're like, okay, bring it on, bro. So this is what I'm talking about. So 2 reasons, right? And I already mentioned one reason. One reason is that they can't compete in their home country, right? And they say they all want a traditional woman, but yet the women in North America, are not very traditional. But for me, I don't care. Like, I'm like, what the fuck, man? What's wrong with these guys? Why do they want a woman to take care of the house and clean and cook and all shit? Do it yourself. I cook, I clean, I do everything myself. I don't need a woman in my life other than for some companionship here and there and some sex, but I don't really need that. If I really, really, really want it and I'm having a hard time meeting someone or haven't met somebody in a while, well, fuck, I can pay for it if I want. But I'm saying I'm very self-sufficient. I don't need somebody to cook, clean, do my laundry and all this shit. So I feel like most of these passport bros are lazy motherfuckers, can't cook and clean themselves. They're fat, right? And they're just pathetic. And so that's the point I'm trying to make is like, don't be idolizing these passport bros because really ultimately they're beta males that can't compete. So that's number 1. Number 2 is they're desperate, right? And they're desperate because they can't meet a woman. They're not getting attention here and they're desperate for that female companionship. And here's the thing, man. When you reach a point where, wait a minute, I don't need a woman in my life and I can compete. You've leveled up yourself. You've worked on yourself, your purpose. You're going to the gym. You're looking good, and you're doing you're putting in the work, right? And this is the thing I have against these passport bros mostly is I see them on 90 Day Fiancé and I see them in these walking tours in Thailand, and I'm like, you guys are pathetic. You don't even take care of yourself, and you make little money, right? They're going on and on about, wow, you can survive. You can live a good lifestyle on $2,000 a month. Fuck. Like, really? Well, no wonder you want to move over there because $2,000 a month is like nothing. That doesn't even cover my rent per month. So that just tells me, look, these guys have not able to compete with other men or other women in their own home country. So their income is low. They're not getting any attention, and this is all their fault. They have not put in the work. They've not put in the work in themselves, their body, to take care of themselves, and then not put in the work to be more driven and hustle and do what you can. Like, look, I am a marketing executive and I make good money in my job, right? But I still hustle. I'm still doing shit on the side. I like to stay busy and I like to make fucking money. So YouTube is just one of the things of many things that I do on the side. to make extra money, and I just like it. It gives me more options. Makes me more competitive. All right, so that's enough of my rant, right? And I know this might ruffle some feathers, might get some panties in a bunch with people that are pro passport bro and they hate women in North America. But you know what? I'm just telling you for myself. I am totally fine with the women here. I can date the women. I don't need a traditional woman in my life because I take care of myself. I just want a woman that's nice and that looks good. That's it. I don't need anything else. So I don't understand this whole passport bro shit. And you're living in a fucking third world country. Like, who ultimately wants to live there? Yes, the weather might be nice, but what about all the things that you don't know? Politically, crime. It's a shit show. Almost every single one of these, I'm saying it, everything, single one of these third world countries is a fucking shit show. And there's a reason why it's still a third world country after how many years has that country been around? And it's still a third world country? And you want to live there? Anyways, I don't know. I'm thinking, you know what? I think I'm probably end up going to retire here in North America, in the United States. That's where I'm living now because it's this first world country. It's a way safer depending on the city you live in, of course. Even in Atlanta, I live in Atlanta. I've never felt threatened once. And people say, oh, Atlanta's all unsafe and stuff. Like today, I heard a gunshot outside. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's always a targeted thing. Anyways, I don't want to go on and on and on about that. But so let me know what you think in the comments. Again, mostly about this. What's the ratio, would you say, are passport bros? Because I want to hear from you in terms of that they can't get any attention here. Would you say it's 70% of passport bros can't get attention? Is it less or is it more? All right, man. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.